Yeah, that was a Game Pass game for a
Wait,
minute.
is that just an update? Like that's not a DLC or nothing? It's just part of it now.
It's a DLC and an update.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's see. I just started the recording. See if anybody's chilling in here. Gotta go to the Twitch fucking joint.
I said John in front of to Jake earlier when he was here, and he was like,
John.
dude, I like forgot about that. And I was like, what do you mean?
I
Dude, you're
forgot
supposed to.
about that
I was
word.
like,
Oh, he
you're
left
supposed
the
to
area?
take that to Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. He went out of town and forgot a word.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean, dude? How do you forget Joan?
Welcome back to fucking Southeast Pennsylvania, motherfucker. Yeah, but so let's get this shit started. Welcome to the Rarity Games podcast, everybody. Been a little while. We've been slacking. I've just been making videos, so it's nice to get back in and have a good little convo. I'm sure it's gonna ramble on for quite a little while. And the big Xbox showcase today. And we got our big Xbox fanboy over here, Chris, and then my boy Jay over here as well. But yeah, ton of awesome stuff today. This is the best I've seen coming from Xbox in a long time, and I'm super happy about it. It's really cool. I'm excited to see what they're gonna bring in the next one, because this one was much better than I've seen as of recent from them.
Highlight for me in terms of quality was they gave Phil Spencer a microphone. You could hear him this time.
That's fair. That is fair. But his eyes were still inside his head. Like,
That's just Phil Spencer.
Dude,
That's what you're gonna get.
I don't know. I don't know how much weed that man smokes, but god damn, he's always
Jesus.
like, the future of gaming is so bright that I can't even see right now.
So you ready? I have a theory about that. There's a comedian named Jim Brewer, and he's like, I don't do drugs, I just look like I do all the time.
Yeah, all the time, always and forever. Oh man, that shit it kills me every time I see him though. But
okay, but yeah, they had some awesome
away.
highlights.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna throw to it. They did a pre-show with Jeff Keighley, which was interesting. I didn't really catch too much of it, but just some of the bits and bobs. They announced a few more of the Xbox stable of games being brought up to the new Series X optimization. They're going to bring Gears Tactics over to the Series X console from the PC Game Pass. They're going to do Gears 5, I believe, a couple other games, just some more stuff being optimized. Cool stuff. Also, they did some indie announcements in here and had like an ID at Xbox sizzle reel with that game Tunic, the like fox-looking Zelda game for a minute.
yeah, that game's been like in development for quite a long time by one guy, right?
Correct. It is a one-man dev thing, so it's one of those things where this is going to be years and years in production, much like Cuphead, where people were just like, "Is this going to come out? It's been 6 years. This looks awesome. Everybody's into it." Like,
Yeah,
you know,
can I get the game, please?
exactly. But yeah, Jeff Keighley doing a nice pre-show. Like I said, I caught it after the fact, but good for him.
Yeah, always nice to have him around, because he when you see him around, you know it's gonna be a good show. You know they're gonna pop off a little bit when the Game Awards man's there.
And I don't know if it's because it's more focused on first party kind of big heavy hitters, or whether they're learning from the lessons previously with the last Inside Xbox thing they did. But
Yeah.
this was filmed a lot more better. It sounded better. We weren't having like people on webcams cut in, cut out. As we all lived through COVID, we know how this is and how this goes. But
Probably
expect
happened
a little bit
during this podcast.
correct. But you expect a little bit more from billion-dollar company Microsoft. You know what I mean? The people who own the webcams and make the tubes and everything else.
Do you though?
But
they did make Windows 8.
Which is still on my desktop PC, by the way.
oh
Do you
no.
run? Oh no, desktop. Okay, your laptop's got 10. Okay.
It
Good
is
as that.
still they gave that away for free because they're like, here, take 10, just get away from 8, just get away.
It never happened.
Anyway, back to the actual point. I think they started this press conference off with an absolute banger, home run out of the park. They gave me exactly what I wanted. They gave me not only live gameplay of Halo, they got cutscenes, you got in-depth map systems. They gave
A good intro to the story too.
a good intro to the story. They gave about a 10-minute a 1-minute trailer and about an 8-minute playthrough with like grenade throwing, pistol shooting. It's Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Some people online are complaining that, oh, it doesn't necessarily look that wow, it doesn't look that amazing. To that I say, A, it's over a stream that was capped at 1080p and you couldn't see HDR to begin with.
Go
And
watch it on
B,
YouTube. That shit look good to me.
yeah, B, it's a shooter game. The game is meant to be played at high speed. When you stop and look at a single frame, of course you're going to see imperfections. You're going to see that, like, oh, this texture on his arm looks like it's popping out a little bit. And it's like, dude, like, we're working off of the stream of the stream. Like, come on.
I mean, I was never a huge Halo guy, but watching that, I was like, this looks pretty fucking good.
Dude, the grappling hook,
Totally.
though. They, like, any game gets a grappling hook, it gets a 1-point upgrade in review scores instantly.
No matter what, people are going to bitch. It could be the top-notch, great quality, best game ever, and somebody's going to bitch about it.
I had this conversation today, like, one of my friends, I was like, dude, all the trolls are going to be trolls, and the fanboys are going to be fanboys. They will never stop. And half of them are just mad because they can't afford it or something, so they just want to shit on it for everybody else and make them have a bad day.
So I think them implementing the grappling hook, or like the grapple mechanic into Halo, solves an awesome problem of sprinting never felt right in Halo.
Mm-hmm.
The old games never had it, and when they tried to implement it in some of the side games as like a power or whatever, it almost felt like, well, if I'm a super soldier, shouldn't I already be able to run without like making it a power? Like it felt goofy.
Maybe.
And if you guys saw in the trailer, that he used the grapple to bring an explosive barrel to him.
That fucked me up. I was like, "Is this Doom?"
Awesome,
like
awesome.
Like,
I think we're looking at a Halo from 343 Industries that has looked around at the industry, looked at a lot of the innovation in the last 5 years, because it's been 5 years since Halo 5.
And the feedback that they've gotten, because a lot of people are like, whoa, you guys went way too far with Halo 5. Some people really liked it, but other people were like, dude, this is just not Halo anymore. They need to go back to the roots a little bit.
A lot of the multiplayer success and the thing that they did around seasons and they took with Halo 4 and built upon it, where it's like, oh, we're getting extra stuff consistently and all this extra information in like a seasonal content almost. Yeah, there's the campaign, yeah, there's the main story, but like, oh, here's this like breadcrumb after story kind of thing. And I think they did a really good idea with that. The problem was a lot of people, myself included, really just didn't vibe with the main story of Halo 5 whatsoever.
Nope.
You played Chief for 3 missions of like 15, and it felt like you were watching Chief rather than actually playing a game about like Halo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They were trying to do something different and they just missed the mark. I get it.
Yeah.
I see what they've been trying to do. They wanted to like make their own game and kind of separate from Bungie. But like, and I get that, but like, people love Halo for Halo. They don't love Halo for whatever the fuck you were just trying to do. Like so like going back to the roots, adding little things like a grappling hook, new weapons, and like that's fine. It's not too much. It's not going to destroy what we know as Halo.
And with Halo as a franchise, Eric, you were there with us when we went and saw the Outpost Discovery about a year or so ago. Check out that video if you haven't seen it. Halo is such a weird, huge, diverse universe. There's dozens of books and toys and comics and stuff that are all canon in this weird, huge, overarching universe that, while they may have been following a plot or a story thread in a book, or like, I don't know, what was that podcast series they tried to do to tease Halo 5, where it was like a reporter trying to find
so
Chief
hard.
And stuff?
You honestly can't ask me and Jay about Halo for the last like couple years. Well, like, he's lost completely. I love the original like 5 or 6 games that came out.
And
they were beautiful.
And that's my exact point, is like they went so far off into the fringes, it almost has that Star Wars effect, where there's like, oh, you're trying to support threads. Yeah, you're trying to support threads from books and like crossover novels and podcasts. Yeah. And it's like, dude, what about shooting a grunt? What happened?
I loved Reach, but even that was getting a little out there. I loved Halo 4. Played the shit out of Halo 4, but then I gave up on Xbox, and there was nothing that wanted me to come, like nothing that telling me go back to Xbox. Like Gears was it, but I'm not buying it for Gears and Forza. Like I want Halo back, and Halo 5 was not it. It looked like a fucking literally like spend all the money in the world to get all the cool shit in the game.
So ODST, I feel, was that first big step into like Halo not just being a 1, 2, 3 game, but like spinning off into this universe.
Halo
I
Wars.
loved ODST. I thought it was a brilliant game. I played the heck out of it and almost platinumed it. But it gave the wrong impression that like, hey, you can just make any game in this universe and it'll sell.
And they're not wrong to an extent, but when you just keep doing that and you don't ever go back to the roots or like the true formula, you're just shit out of luck, man. Like, it's over.
Disney Star Wars movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone will go see it. Doesn't mean they'll fucking like it.
Exactly.
Tim from Kind of Funny made the reference that Halo 4 and 5 are almost like the Star Wars prequels. Like, everyone loves Halo 1, 2, and 3. That's like the core trilogy you grew up with. It's like as basic of a building block as you can get. And then you start to mess with these things, and then they have prequels and spin-offs and side stories, and you're like, what just happened to the thing I grew up with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I really can't wait for this one. And the fact that it's coming to Game Pass right away, and it's going to be on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC, that makes me so happy. That is a power move that they're doing throughout all their game franchises right now, and I think that's incredible. And you could damn sure believe I'm going to be playing the shit out of this Halo.
And to lean into that power move with Game Pass, all the Halo games are playable on Game Pass right now, including Halo Wars 1 and 2, which this story picks up the story from Halo Wars 2 from like 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
You would enjoy that too, Jay. You'd enjoy Halo Wars.
I might have to look into that because
it's completely.
I've never had anything against the Halos. I just I wasn't an Xbox.
Yo, they're all the Master Chief Collection's all co-op, right? Campaign.
Correct.
Me and you should run through that, Jay. We should run them on PC.
I'm with it.
That'd be fun.
I think ODST is the only one that's not. I think that's single player because it's only the campaign.
Yeah. No. It's co-op, but I don't know if it's co-op on the one on PC. I think it is. I watched somebody play it in co-op 4-player because they were doing.
You know what it was?
I just opened up Game Pass, and what's the first thing that's on the front
all
page?
The Halo shit.
Halo 3.
Yeah.
Yep. No, they know, dude. They know.
Yeah. Making power moves.
That was in that frame where they were only doing full screen Halo games, and you could co-op over Xbox Live, but not co-op split screen.
Yeah, it was a little weird window where it was a little fucked up. But I just watched a lasso of 4 players. I just don't know how they played it. I don't know if they pulled out their old 360s or whatever. I just don't. But I'm excited to get back into those. I wouldn't mind doing that. That's the series we might have been looking for, Jay. Like, we could just run that because you've never done it. Like, I'll be like playing Halo with somebody who's never seen it.
and the final big takeaway thing on Halo before we move on is the map system. It is an open world, almost encounter based map system where you go to a location to trigger a mission event to go run the mission.
Dude, I'm so hyped.
I think this is an awesome idea.
It's a strategy game, yes.
That's a real-time strategy?
Yeah, it's like Star Wars. Or it's like
dude.
StarCraft, yeah.
2 thumbs way up, bro.
Look at his face! That's why I said you'd like Halo Wars, and you're like...
and the even better part is it's a prequel with 3 different Spartans. And your Spartan's main ability is to just hijack vehicles.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
I'm
I know. I knew. Well, that one's single player. You do that on your own. But I was talking about the campaigns.
No, they remastered Halo Wars 1, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it now, and it's got all the DLC in there. Yeah. But the map system on the new Halo Infinite coming out this holiday, I think, is a huge improvement over the old one.
I'm super excited about it.
It makes it a lot more interesting in terms of I'm going to help someone that might not necessarily be as far along as me or as into Halo as I am. They said that there are upgrades on the map. There are also rarity-based weapons and stuff. And I don't want to say they went full RPG, but they're definitely dipping a foot in that water.
And I think that's beautiful. That's what the Halo series needed. It goes back to its roots, but at the same time doing something completely different that isn't going to, like, make you confused about what you're playing. Like...
I think they planted that seed of, like, good old-fashioned regular Halo in modern-day soil of, like, all these new modern systems.
Because
what would that look like updated?
Yeah, and upgrades would be really cool, like, because it's like a speed upgrade and a jumping upgrade, rather than being like, oh, you got a power-up, now you can double jump, or oh, you got a power-up, now you can run. It's like that. It's not restricted. It's more like you'll gradually just get stronger.
And the refinement on a lot of the weapons, they had an auto shotty that looks awesome.
Dude, that Magnum thing.
Yep. A one-way shield where you throw down rather than the old-school bubble shield. You just get a forward shield you can fire through. Yeah, which huge game changer. But yeah, that's basically Halo Infinite. It is a launch title for the Series X, whenever that is going to be, sometime October, November holiday, ?
Yeah, and as I said, coming to PC and Xbox One as well, which is a huge power move, and it's going to be a recurring thing we talk about during this, because that they're not in the same competition as Sony anymore, in my opinion. Like, they left that in the dust. They're like, look, we're not gonna win that world right now. Let's just make people play what they already have, like whether it's your phone or your Xbox One or your PC. Like, let's go all out.
Has PlayStation, Microsoft now has Xbox, PC, and the phone.
And they've always had it, but now it's like all in one. And they gave up on the Windows phone. Like, fuck that thing. Just let's throw them on Android and iPhones. Like,
they're diversifying in a really smart way, that they're keeping one foot in the physical and one foot in the digital, to the point where, like, oh, everyone that has a physical Xbox is going to do this stuff already. But now we can market the same stuff to people that's not even in the ecosystem, that can play it, that might get in the ecosystem or might never. But either way, all roads lead back to Microsoft.
I haven't had an Xbox since the first one, and now that there's Game Pass on PC, I'm playing Microsoft Xbox games again.
Yep. He was like, wait, what? Okay, cool. And then loves certain games already. And, like, they just added a bunch of stuff today because of the event. Like, there's, like, a bunch of cool little things.
Yeah.
And then, like, Fallout 76 just hopped on there. Destiny 2's coming to Game Pass, which is huge for that.
Gears Tactics, even if you don't have Game Pass, they were doing a super sale where it was like $30. Like a 24-hour, like, flash sale. Go for it on Steam, on all that stuff. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, they're going all out, man. The fact that, like you said, you just mentioned Steam, like, they're putting their games on Steam, too. Like, they have no qualms right now. They're just like, yeah, just go for it. We're going all out. Like, everything, everywhere. It is just, wherever you buy it, you buy it. And, like, it gives every type of gamer the opportunity where it's like, even though the Series X is about to come out, there's people like you that are going to buy it no matter what. And then there's other people that are going to be like, oh shit, damn, they're upgrading right now? Fuck it, I'll buy an Xbox One X right now for $200-300. Like, why not? And then if I really want to get into it, I can upgrade. Like,
and depending upon where they fall in the hardware conversation, things can get even more interesting. But that's another video for another time.
Yeah, it's just really smart. I think that's the move they needed to make, because they know they can't get into the kids market, and they can't seem to hit this single player story, like, stride quite yet. They're getting there, obviously, but it's very interesting to see them go in a completely different direction. Look where nobody was doing something, and they just ran with it.
And I think that's a key thing right there, is look where nobody's doing something, because all the videos and everything they showed today might not be for everybody, but there was one or two things that everybody was like, oh, that was cool, and this was cool, and that was cool.
They're games that I was going in watching it thinking, it's Xbox, I'm not a huge Xbox guy, this and that. There was a handful of games where I was like, I gotta play that, I'm gonna have to get that.
And that being said, kind of moving along down the line a little bit, something that grabbed me personally that I didn't even know I wanted or had thought about was State of Decay 3 popped up out of nowhere. Insanely hyped for that.
Like,
insanely hyped for that. That was like a tease, like a little 90-second, 1-minute tease. But I'm insanely hyped for that. That game has received so much polish, almost Sea of Thieves style. Like, it came out real janky, not broken, but real janky, like 4 years ago. And update after update after free DLC, after paid DLC, after free DLC. And they just grew it into a really good game. A buddy of mine that just got Game Pass a couple months ago found it and has already dumped 90 hours into it I didn't even know he was playing it. He just found it and he goes, "Have you ever heard of State of Decay?"
Like, dude, yes, the fuck I have.
Let me tell you about shooting zombies with a crossbow.
Yeah, no, and it's cool because like as we know, with a lot of these games that don't do too well in the beginning, and then they update, they can master their game, and they may not get a huge number of sales, and with it being so late in the launch already, so they go, okay, let me take what we learned from updating this game and getting feedback, and just launch a whole new one. That's adds, you know, a few little flicks and flares, but they're gonna be able to get people's eyes on it again.
And from the looks of this new one, the new State of Decay, it's not going to be as much of a stationary build a bunker, hunker down base as it is just big mobile stuff. Take your camp with you, kind of thing.
Ooh.
Almost as if like you're on the run constantly, which could be very interesting.
Really cool idea. And the trailer was dope. I like that she like saw the wolf and then scared it off. And then she thinks the wolf killed something, and then turns, and it's a zombie deer eating the wolf. I was like, all right, like.
And that teaser, if you pay attention to it, did a really incredible job of showing gameplay and then showing a video, and then showing gameplay and showing a video. It did that real subtle, and I think we're going to start to see a lot more of that this generation as the graphical quality improves. To like that pre-rendered video versus gameplay, like is not too much difference anymore.
Yeah. Polish Bro 97, I got you. We're talking about that right now. We did just cover Halo Infinite and then State of Decay 3, but we're going down the line. That we got plenty to talk about still.
Back to my previous note, they finally handed Phil a mic. He talked about where everything was going with the generations, how Game Pass Ultimate is going to have xCloud in it. I wish he would have talked more about that, the financials, and also what that looks like long term, but he kind of just did a quick pop acknowledgement of it. And then moved on a little bit. We saw some Forza Motorsport, the more hardcore racing sim. It's always nice. Hell. Always nice to see a racing game come with a console. Little disappointed this isn't going to be at launch. It might shoot for the tail end of that launch window, maybe 6 months out, a year out from launch. But little rough. Looks great, but little rough that it's going to miss that window.
Yeah, but we still got Horizon 4 and stuff that's all going to upgrade and be looking much cleaner on the next console. So,
and I also think that that's a benefit for them because Horizon 4, they gave it that season effect, so it almost is like a game as a service where they keep updating events and stuff like that. So that'll buy them some time. Also, we saw Everwild, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and it's rare.
Like the style of it.
Yes,
like the art of it.
Yeah, like done by Rare, doing something very different than what we've seen from them as of recently, and I think that's really, really cool.
I think it's something that's more traditional Rare, old school Rare. It doesn't seem aggressive. You're not fighting. It seems a little bit more cultivative, build a relationship, almost dig into that old like adventure sim roots of Rare kind of thing.
Yeah. I always thought that was really cool that Rare like just been doing something different every time they launch something.
And this game has been teased and kind of like hinted at and shown in little bits and bites and clips here and there. Nobody really can nail down what the gameplay looks like or what you're actually going to do. So that might be a little bit, I don't know. This could turn into almost like a fancy Pokemon game to an extent. Or
it might be like the smaller group of guys at Rare working on it, like, you know, like a separate
very possible.
Team. Like
very possible.
They still have Sea of Thieves going, and I'm sure they're working on something else. Between them and Obsidian, they got so many projects going.
Yeah, but it's definitely nice to see a Rare game come out and get a little bit more press, because Sea of Thieves is great, but like something else needs to come out of them.
Very true.
We saw Ori and the Will of the Wisps is getting a Series X upgrade that will run at 4K and 120 hertz, which is super fancy, super cool, super nice, but that's basically the PC version running on a Series X. Which we've said before, the Series X is awesome, but it's also like a medium to high-end PC, basically.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting, though, because that thing, like, it's going to break the boundaries of the PC games as well. Like, the new consoles are going to change a lot, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think they're just like, oh, well, now the consoles are finally going to catch up to PC, and it's not really like that. It's more like the PC games that have been getting made can now get better because they don't have to worry about what the console version is going to be like. Like, they've always had to dumb them down, and now they can just go for it.
And much like PlayStation showed us when they did their PS5 demo and played a PS4 Spider-Man game on it, I think when people play a game that they know and love on the new hardware, and they see the loads are instantaneous, they see the textures are a little bit sharper, and they just get that inherent hardware upgrade from running on a better system, I think people are going to realize that then this stuff is really hard to demo over a stream, over compression, while maybe your favorite streamer talks over top of it or what have you. It just, kind of gets lost in the bits somewhere.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. It's definitely like going to be one of those things that just everything changes very quickly.
Yeah. Real quick, just to kind of roll through a couple of interesting but minor announcements. Outer Worlds DLC, that looked very cool. Great story. Super fun to play through. I haven't really hit all the endings, but be an interesting way to go back, start another playthrough, get some other random achievements I never got, and play the DLC.
Yeah, real quick. So the guy Polish Bro in the chat right now is asking PS5 versus Xbox Series X. Who do you think is ahead in popularity right now? So
PS5.
Yeah, popularity. I'm gonna say PS5, as I mentioned earlier. It's just like it's different for Xbox Series X now. They're not really in the same race. They're trying to promote the Xbox One still, and they're trying to promote like the PC and Game Pass. It's a different race for them now.
I think the PS5 captures a wider of an audience too because of the amount of different types of games that they have too.
And I think Microsoft and Sony are almost in a reverse David and Goliath kind of thing. Sony is a smaller company, but they have these targeted story games that have a guaranteed audience. You put out a game like Spider-Man, and people will show up for it, period. That is a system seller, almost the way like a Nintendo Zelda or Mario game where you will get a guaranteed audience for that game.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft realized with their fumbles this generation that they're not going to be able to get around that. You're not going to win them in a straight boxing fight, like a fight over direct titles. So with them not only coming out with Game Pass and then making Game Pass go, I don't want to say everywhere, but a lot of places, they're not winning the fight straight on. They're just trying to surround. That's pretty much what they're trying to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think they're just trying to everybody play their games no matter what. If you don't buy an Xbox, I don't think Phil Spencer's going to cry at night. I think everyone that really, really is a hardcore gamer is going to end up getting a PS5. I don't think everyone is a Series X. I think I will because that's my main ecosystem. But Miles Morales looks awesome.
Yeah, that's for sure. There's a bunch of stuff, and as he just mentioned, PS5 was trending so many times, and you can see that today. The only thing really being talked about is like Halo and a few other things, but there's not like an overwhelming amount of social media presence that's like constant. Like PS5, when that happened, that event, literally for a week and a half straight, every time I scrolled down any news feed was pictures of the console, talking about this, talking about the price point, talking about pre-orders, talking about da. Xbox, I haven't seen much of that.
And speaking to exactly what Eric just said, I think the hunger for information about the PS5 is way higher than the hunger for information about the Series X. Series X stuff has been out there for 6-7 months in Digital Foundry articles, and what is that Austin guy from YouTube went and did a hands-on thing with it. Like, people have touched it, people have played it. Phil Spencer's openly said, hey, I've had this at my house for a year playing it. Pics leaked all over Twitter before they even announced it, like of where the expansion card slot for the memory was. I think Sony's doing a much better job of preserving their image, kind of keeping their cards a little bit close to the chest. And even if they might not have the most technically powerful system, they've got enough system sellers in their pocket that they don't have anything really to worry about.
Yeah, and it's not like the biggest gap either. Like with the technical power, it's very small, minor things. Like if you build a PC with those two sections of parts, you basically be able to play the exact same games. Like you're not gonna have too much of an issue. It's like little things. That's it.
You're gonna have slight optimizations one way or the other. Almost how
and it depends
Red Dead,
the software.
Red Dead, yeah, exactly. Like how Red Dead 2, when it launched, it was slightly sharper on the Xbox One X than it was on the PS4 Pro. But like you were getting maybe like 100 lines of difference or something. Like it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, it all depends how they optimize the hardware as well, like how they build their operating system. how much memory everything's going to be using, because in all honesty, the PS4, at least the main, like the original, kind of fucked up. Like, they were good in the beginning, but they didn't think about that console long term at all. Like, that bitch runs like shit. Like, it runs so slow, and I can't even open up my goddamn side menu without that bitch loading everything for 10 minutes, and then I popped an SSD in that bitch. Runs like smooth fucking butter across butt cheeks.
And dropping that SSD in there took a motor out, got rid of a lot of heat, and it made the system just run a little bit better. And I think that was one of those things, like you said, that Sony didn't long-term think that, like, a lot of these games that are huge system and memory pushers weren't designed and optimized with 2013 hardware in mind, and it makes it cough. And when you play some of these games, it sounds like you got a lawnmower jet engine.
Yeah, pretty fucking much.
Especially with Last of Us.
Yeah, it was a little much, and like I'm hoping that doesn't end up happening at all again. But I could see it I could see it happening again, like halfway through the life cycle of the console, where they're pushing the limits, and both consoles are like, boing.
That's one of the things that's really impressed me about the Series X. When they not only showed it, it's that thing is basically a giant fan. It's a turbine. When they also showed today in the conference the exploded view of, like, look, here's the system coming apart. That fan is like 2/3 of the system. Like,
have you not seen the Austin Evans YouTube video? I thought I said.
Oh yeah, no.
The breakdown
I've seen
of the
it, but,
console.
like,
yeah.
But
really
like
good.
Seeing it actually just, like, come out in a video, like, it reminded me about it, because I don't really stare at the tech specs all the time. But anyway, kind of moving along down the list of games, we have another Double Fine game, story-based, kind of choose your own path sort of thing. This one's going to have a brother and a sister combo, one of which is LBGTQ. So they're doing that diversity thing, which is very cool.
Of course.
Shout out to them. Not exactly my type of game, but I'm glad it exists.
Yeah, the story-based games like that. He just mentioned, he said, have you seen the Xbox game boxes where it'll state on them that Series X improvements or something like that? So basically, I think what he's mentioning is, like, you can buy a game, and because of the whole smart delivery thing, it'll say on the back of the box or something like, if you play this on Series X, it'll be that much better than on Xbox One.
Yeah, plus, what he may or may not be referencing is when they dropped, like, the PS5 cases, like a week or so later, they started showing some of the Series X game cases, and the Series X game cases look a little bit convoluted. They say Xbox on it like 4 times in 3 different spots, and then on the cover where you would normally have, like, oh, your Assassin's Creed Valhalla or whatever, there's like another big, like, thumb-sized sticker over it that says optimized for Series X, and then there's one on the back that says, what is it, smart delivery, and it's like,
I get they got a lot going on though.
Yeah, but that's the problem, is, like, in the grand scheme of things, this is all simple. You put it in and it works. But you have like 10 different words to say. Yeah, you have 10 different words to say why and what's going on. Which is why I do have to give props that they did put to rest the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S all digital. They are no longer in production. They're still in stores. They're still flying around. But there's no more new ones coming. Whatever's out in the world is out in the world. It's the end of it. It's smart because they can obviously shift their focus to production of the new system. But yeah, they got to be careful so they don't overcomplicate this, because mom and pop going to buy a game system in the store, or at this point clicking online, which they're not sure of, and getting the wrong thing delivered, like, that's going to be a hassle for somebody. So going any steps they can to optimize that would be better. I hope they're going to change the logo marketing for the Series X, because it's just complicated.
I'm just confused as how they're gonna sell games right now. Like, if they're saying, like, you can buy the Xbox One version, is it the same? Like, is it gonna have, like, Xbox One and Series X on the disc, and you can pop it in either console and it'll work the same? Like,
so give me 1 second, I'll grab an Xbox case for you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, because like, it's just a little odd to me. Like they can put it on anything. So, and they have smart delivery where if you buy a game, it'll shift over anyway. Yeah.
So here's a Dark Souls case. This basically is what it would look like for a Series X. It's a little bit more of a header up here, but there is a third logo here that says optimized for Series X. And then on the back, there's another one with all that other stuff that says smart delivery and all that stuff.
But it'll be an Xbox One game?
Yes.
And it'll say optimized for it.
That's
yes.
interesting.
So any
it's
any disc can go in any system.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So like, and then so eventually at some point they'll probably shift over more towards the Series X like line of things. But it's just an odd way. It's like it's explored territory right now that they're trying to figure out.
They don't have a good way to get rid of the Xbox One. It's basically what's going on.
Yeah, because I mean, what they're doing, it doesn't really make sense. But I guess they'll wait till like that less of them are online, and
I think they're going to take a play out of Apple's playbook and just keep releasing consoles until the old one phases out and just goes away like poof poof poof.
Yeah, into the new cases for the games will just say Xbox on them. It
Yep.
doesn't even say One or Series X or anything. It'll just say Xbox.
And Phil Spencer has stated in one of the many interviews he's been going around doing lately that he doesn't expect to really see developers take advantage and get true Series X games for at least 18 months to 2 years.
Yeah, that was a very weird statement, but I like that he's being real. Instead of being like,
exactly.
It's the best of the best of the best, he was like, look, I already know what's going to happen. And I think that's cool.
In that same kind of, I don't know if it was the exact same interview, but in that same series of press that he did, is when he said the idea also of games being held back by lesser hardware is almost like a misnomer. Think of like the PC style of where if it's properly made and optimized by the developer for this hardware, it will run spectacularly and look awesome. Yeah, you do also compromise maybe something and you might get a subpar version running on a launch Xbox One from 2013 trying to play Halo Infinite. But the fact that you can play Halo Infinite is mind-blowing.
That's
a game
awesome.
that's 7 and 8 years old. And for me personally, I think that's also another part of their like multi-pronged attack, because somebody that picks up a brand new Halo Infinite game that doesn't justify the new consoles or can't get their mom or dad or whatever to see it's worth it is going to try and play that game and go, oh, this is cool, but this ain't right. This ain't running like I see it run on TV or YouTube or what have you. And that is going to be that now I have a reason to upgrade kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we've talked a little bit enough about this, especially for the people that have been here since the beginning. So let's just run through this showcase because there's a lot to talk about still.
Yeah, moving along the line. Thank you for keeping it going. Grounded is having their early playtest coming on the 28th.
5 days.
Yes.
He's hyped too.
I was trying to play it like a week ago, thinking it was out, and it just denied me.
I played it a while ago. This game is literally Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like everything you think Honey, I Shrunk the Kids should be, it is. And they took Fortnite building.
Now,
we're all on that, dude. We need to play that.
Is it like strictly an adventure game, or is it like RPG-ish, or
It's really interesting. I'm not 100% sure what I can and can't say, but it's almost Sea of Thieves open-ended of how do you want to play it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's enough information out there right now that you can say a good bit. I know you have that NDA situation, but like there's articles out.
Well, I know there's people streaming it. Like I've seen.
Yeah, and I've seen journalists do bits on it, so I don't think.
I think you're good. It's coming out the 28th, so I'm pretty sure that the NDA's up.
This game has a huge multi-tiered skill tree. Basically, how you want to build the skill tree is basically how you want to play. Do you want to make yourself a crafter? Are you harvesting stuff, bug parts, killing stuff and crafting? No. Do you want to focus on like exploration and finding weird, cool little scientific bits in this yard? Do you want to focus on being a base builder and just like hunker down with your friends?
So you need to have a well-rounded team. Yeah, and you need to have a well-rounded team to like do a little bit of everything.
Correct, but just like how, if you think about Gears Tactics, the perk system, it was huge, and you couldn't really figure out which way you wanted to go. This, they more directly said, hey, you want to do this, you can search boxes and find more stuff. Gotcha. You want to do this, you can take more health. Like, they almost made it like my first, like, No Man's Sky open world-ish kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really awesome, and I went for the adventure mode. In this yard as a shrunk down person, exploring bugs, collecting dewdrops to harvest
different
water.
World. Yeah, very different world than we've seen before. So it's I think that's cool.
The crafting system I think needed a little bit of work. It was a little bit obtuse, a little bit janky. Almost like a Monster Hunter crafting system.
Okay, that's fair then.
which is very cool. And I got some awesome armor and made really sweet weapons. But it took me a good hour of like playing the game, dying, playing the game, dying. Being, oh, I need to make this armor that gives me resistance
That's
to
cool,
poison
though.
because I'm fighting a stink bug.
Yeah, I'm all for that then. That
Yeah.
sounds interesting. I like being challenged like that a little bit and kind of figuring things out on my own. And you
And
mentioned something about the Gears Tactics thing, the skill tree. So like it made me think of something. I can't wait for Xbox Game Studios to do something similar to what PlayStation did, where they kind of take from each other's games and they go, "Ooh, I did this and you did that. All right, bring that guy over to the studio because let him talk to the guys about how he did this, that, the third." Dude, their games 5 years down the road are gonna be so interesting because of that.
And it's cool to see like all those people are now under Matt Booty at Xbox
Matt
to see
Booty.
that like to see all those like individual heads of studios that have not only ran their own studios for a while and have experience, but to like be in this network. Like it's really cool to see how a lot of that carries over.
Yeah, this game's definitely the one that I'm most excited for. I think out of like the games that are coming soon,
in terms
it's
of
super
like
interesting.
in terms of like the coming soon quick drop, this is the big thing I'm excited for till Halo comes out, because it'll be fun and stupid to like hop on with my friends and just run around and die with a bug. And like, you know.
Yeah, and I loved Outer Worlds, and I've liked all of Obsidian's games. So to see them do something co-op and different is really it's gonna be cool and interesting.
And one of the things I didn't expect in this game that surprised the hell out of me was the verticality of it. You're this
Really?
tiny little person, so you don't think there's like height to the game. You're climbing up blades of grass and trees and stuff. Dude, I held onto a dandelion and rode it like an umbrella across the yard. It was out of control. Out of control.
So you're basically playing like a Bug's Life, but you're a person who got shrunk.
100%. Yes, that's exactly
really
what
cool.
the game is. That's exactly what the game is. If you've never seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, it's basically A Bug's Life, but with
So it's
people.
the mixture of those two movies, like made into a game, but you're
Yep.
smaller than an ant because the
And-
ants were trying to eat them, and I saw that, and that was yeah.
The ants are about the size of cows. So like everything in this game is bigger than you. Literally everything is bigger.
That's so cool.
than
I can't wait.
In the starting area, there's a tripod, and the tripod might as well be like bigger than the Eiffel Tower. Like, because you're just walking under this thing, and you can climb up the stuff, and like, dude, there's so much stuff to this game that like I'm kind of impressed the way they weave the RPG in with the exploration, in with the hey, this is a kiddie bubblegum skin.
Yeah.
A kid can play this game and not get terrified that he's fighting a stink bug or
Exactly. Yeah,
a
really
ladybug
cool
or
idea.
something.
And yes,
But in the same
Polish, it is Xbox only and PC as well. For
Mhm.
Xbox Game Pass, you can play it right away.
It's a cool game to keep an eye on, considering it's coming
I'm
out.
curious to see like the
28th.
story of it, like why are they little? Why are we shrunk? Is there
Yeah.
a backstory? That's what I'm curious about. All of that.
So-
like, that game has me captured.
So the starting area, that big tripod thing I was talking about, they don't really specifically say, but it appears that's the shrink ray. It seems
Okay.
the main storyline is almost you have to craft, to learn, to build, to fix the shrink ray to get big.
Okay.
Yeah, I bet you they were like playing with it and learning some shit for like a science project or something, and then they like shrunk themselves.
I'm interested to see how like the multi-day base cycle goes, because the demo I played literally had an in-game clock of like 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and every time it hit that clock, yeah, no, I'm saying in a playthrough, in like a session, it was like a floor demo.
Okay.
So every time I played it, it hit that timer, it went up, and then it erased the game, and then you started fresh with like a new person because
Ooh.
you're another person.
Oh, so you get to go all out now. That's awesome.
Well, and I've basically played the beginning of this game like 5 times.
You'd be like, yo,
So-
trust me, go do this, and let's do this, and let's get this.
Yeah.
And now I don't know where the hell we're going. Let's do it.
Yeah, it'll be cool. But keeping things moving along, they showed a new medieval kind of magic war cutscene video. Some arrows
City?
flying.
Avowed.
Avowed, yeah. Arrows flying, blowing up a skeleton, and then you have basically Skyrim. It's what it pretty much looked like. You had a magic sword, he did like a rune symbol, and had some magic stuff. It looked fantastic. I'm super excited for that game. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This dude, Josh, in the chat just said, "You guys look like hardcore gamers." And he said, "Nice beard, mate," to you.
Yeah. I think that's my buddy Josh letting me know how cool I am. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Oh man, that's funny.
So yeah, Avast. I think that's going to be like a 2022, 2024. We're not going to hear anything about that for a while. Or Avowed. I'm sorry, Avowed.
Avowed. Yeah. That it does look pretty cool. It has the Elder Scrolls vibe to it, and it's also made by Obsidian, so it should be pretty cool. It should be pretty cool. He said, "You guys want to have a go? Stop laughing at me. We're not laughing at you. You got us."
With you, but we can laugh at you
if you want.
Oh, Josh, they announced State of Decay 3, bud. The new State of Decay is coming.
Joshy R6. I'm assuming that's Staley. Is that what you're saying?
It might be. Who knows? Anyway, moving along. Yeah, they showed more Hellblade 2. They went like almost in like a dev diary, a little behind the scenes. They gave more Iceland content. Hey, this is where this is going to be set. And then they showed like fjords and waterfalls and like everything looks crazy, but it was real world, not video game. So this game is a while. This is going to be a minute. This is probably going to be a wait.
Yeah.
Super hyped for this. They revealed like 3.5 or 4 million people have played the original Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I highly recommend everybody play that if you haven't. It's an amazing action game.
Yes.
Definitely wear headphones.
For sure.
The audio mixing in that, not to give everything away in the game, but the use of like mental illness and like spooky stuff is out of this world.
Yeah. You skipped over one thing from Obsidian though that I wanted to just quickly highlight. That Outer Worlds is getting a huge update too. They're getting like a whole new planet and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
new DLC like Gorgon.
Yeah, so Obsidian's going hard right now. I really like that they have 3 projects going at once. They went from basically being like kind of absent in the gaming industry to just coming out strong. So it's really cool to see, Microsoft backing them and giving them a chance to go hard.
I think they might have another game in development too, because didn't they do Pillars of Eternity? I think they have Pillars of Eternity 3 coming, because Deadfire came out on PC a year ago.
I think you're right.
That was one of those clicker, like, isometric Baldur's Gate style games that I'm like, so.
Either way, just wanted to quick mention it, so if you're into Outer Worlds, like, yeah, there's new content coming unexpectedly.
Yeah, that'll be a good trip back to that game.
Yep.
Double Fine. Looks like the game might have got bumped. It never got an official date, but with everything going down with COVID and them saying they cut things out, and then they got bought by Microsoft, so now they have money, so they're adding things back in. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 2021 game. They did show us some gameplay, cool trailer, and Jack Black singing a song in the game, which was nice.
Yeah, dude, that trailer got me because of Jack Black. Like, I know it was trippy as hell. Like that. That's
Psychonauts.
Wild, dude. Yeah, it was wild though. Like the enemy boss that you're fighting and stuff was like just straight glitching. Like,
well, and that's one of the funny things is before they got Microsoft, they were saying we didn't have the funds to do the boss fights. We didn't have the funds to make like the game the way we wanted to make the game, which is why we partnered with them, because we need that cash to make the vision kind of thing.
Yeah, very true. Very true. That's cool. It's cool to see what they're doing now, and then for them to pull on Jack Black. Hopefully he's doing like half the soundtrack. That'd be really cool.
Well, and they have a relationship with him. They did that game Brutal Legend with Jack Black 10 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that.
I didn't realize that was them. I didn't realize it was Double Fine. That's cool.
Yeah. Also, one of the things we're probably going to get stuck on talking about for a minute is they made a big Game Pass and xCloud announcement that Destiny 2 is coming to Game Pass with a bunch of the DLC, if not all the DLC. I wasn't quite clear on that.
I think they're doing the current DLCs right now, and then when Series X launches, they're giving us Beyond Light with Game Pass as well.
Correct, because Beyond Light got bumped, I believe, till like November or something.
That's what I got out of it. As at first, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, they're pulling another like free everything, and then you got to buy Beyond Light. But it looks like they might be giving it to them.
I think what they have 3 big DLCs for Destiny 2. I think they're giving you 2. And you have the option to buy the third one?
No, it said all current DLCs.
Oh, well, that's even bigger news than I thought.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I think this is basically the final nail in Stadia. There's no reason to have that service anymore. They had 30,000 people playing it in March once quarantine was really get going.
Dude,
So
I thought it would be bigger than that. Remember, I sent you the 11,000 in December stat?
Yeah.
You said 30. They barely tripled it. That's so sad, dude.
I think we're going to start to see an exodus from that platform in the very near future.
God, that sucks. It had potential too. Like it does suck, but now Game Pass is coming out, and now you can stream to your phone. Like they said, you could play Destiny 2 on your phone.
Yeah,
like where else are you gonna be able to do that except Game Pass and the streaming service?
That's just wild.
Yeah,
and the fact that you can take
a game like that,
you can take your existing save, play it on your console, play it in the cloud, play it on somebody else's console. Like you can get it anywhere.
Insane. Like that's gonna be so cool to be like, oh, like for the people that love Destiny, they can go, oh, I need to hit my bounties. I forgot to hit my bounties today, but I'm out right now. Like I already went to my friend's house. Like fuck it, pop it on, run over, grab some bounties real quick, get a couple missions done, go back to doing what you're doing.
Wait, Zer has what this weekend? I'm
exactly.
On my way.
Like, oh, I'm gonna go take a poop real quick and go bang out on a mission. Like that's so cool. Like Xbox is making power moves, man. I gotta give it to them.
That's a vicious picture you paint right there, bud.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Damn right. Destiny 2 and poo.
I have a note here for the next game. Now you guys are gonna have to help me out with this because I saw so many games today. This one slips my mind. I wrote Stalker 2 ?
That's more in like my playing field. It's
okay,
like,
fantastic.
Horror type survivalish set in like Chernobyl, basically.
Yes. Okay.
And basically, you know, creatures coming out at you. I don't know too much about it. Earlier was the first time I saw it. It started with a guy walking away with a hood on, and he turns with a gas mask on his face. I don't know too much about it, but it's definitely going to be something I'm going to be playing.
Okay, that was the quick trailer where it just showed like weird images and like background drops and stuff, right? That wasn't the split screen thing.
No, the split screen is a different game that I will more than likely be playing as well, called The Medium.
Yeah, that was crazy. I knew you were going to hop on that and be like, yo, what is this?
Yeah.
That medium is like dual worlds almost. Like what you do in one affects the other.
You're
like
essentially a psychic or a medium, and as you go through this world, you're experiencing the current world and this I don't know
other dimension.
Other dimensional world or a past. I don't know exactly what it is, but definitely got my attention, and it's gonna be something I'm gonna be playing.
Should be cool because like it seemed like you're moving at the exact same time in both worlds, but then different events are happening in each world. So like if you're running away from something, but there's an obstacle in one world and not the other, can it obstruct your path? You know what I mean? Like that'd be weird to like split your mind and have to pay attention to both. Like
I'll tell you what, the very beginning of that trailer, what caught me is just the angle behind the character. It really gave me a Resident Evil Jill Valentine feel.
100%.
And it sucked me in, and I was like, oh, what is this?
And not only that, but that whole like do something in A and it affects B is so Resident Evil.
Yeah, very true.
That's something I'm gonna be looking for.
And definitely a lot of stuff you can miss in the game. I'm sure, like you mess certain scenarios up, or like you run the wrong way, or just that's it.
So, continuing on, something that caught me off guard that I really wasn't even sure what it was until it was over. Warhammer 40k Darktide. It's basically the new Vermintide game, but it's not Vermintide. It's set in the future. And you are fighting plague demons, and you look like you're just regular Imperial Guard. You're like a space army guy in 40k, and
that
looks
cool
absolutely fantastic.
He said like they're gonna go out there and find out what's going on if they make it back, and like as soon as they lifted up their lights, it was just a horde of dudes. Like I was like, oh wow, they're fucked.
This was another trailer that they did an amazing job of intercutting video versus actual gameplay, because those scenes when they were looking down gun and moving with the flashlight, that was gameplay. So this game is going to have that kind of claustrophobic horror feel to it, which is going to be awesome. And from talking to a buddy of mine that's kind of huge in that Warhammer community, he says that this is going to get that feel of almost like a Left 4 Dead. that like you need to get from A to B. You are being constantly pursued. You've got to kill a couple targets, but you also simultaneously have to survive.
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
It's
Keep
definitely
moving.
pretty interesting to see. Like, it's very different from anything we've seen from Warhammer recently.
Yeah, Warhammer usually is a lot tactical, slower. To see something that quick, especially with the success of Vermintide 1 and 2, I'm really, really excited to get my hands on that. An interesting recycled game for our next game is Tetris Effect Connected. It's basically a remaster of Tetris Effect that came out, like a year ago?
Tetris in 4K!
In 4K with online multiplayer. And they made this cool little community video of everybody, race-free color, playing Tetris. And then they have, like, split-screen multiplayer. And then they come together and they're sharing a screen. I think it's a very basic idea that is going to be hugely successful.
Yeah, I agree 100%. What was that?
Yeah.
Joe?
Who doesn't love Tetris?
Yep.
Yeah, for real. And like they're doing a new spin on it since it's coming to the new consoles. It's no longer a PlayStation exclusive. So
I have it. It's not a PlayStation exclusive now. I have it on my Switch.
The Tetris Effect. You're thinking of Tetris Versus, I think, or
Tetris 99.
99.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Tetris Effect is a trippy VR style Tetris.
So you can play. Yeah, you can play Effect in like regular TV 2D, or you can play it in 3D. 3D, it's still exclusive to PlayStation, I believe.
It's a VR,
and now it's a VR, and then the regular 2D is coming remastered, air quotes, everywhere.
Yeah, should be cool. The game was always good.
Yeah, people love Tetris. That's one of those games, like our aunt will play that and just be happy and not care and not need a game system and just play Tetris.
Yeah.
Moving along, we have an interesting kind of cartoon-style game called Gunk. It's basically the vacuum cleaner game.
I knew Jay was waiting for this one.
I'm very excited for that game. It's like it gave me like a Mario Sunshine kind of feel. Run around,
yes,
platformer.
That's what I was looking for earlier. When
I like the artwork to it. I like the style, everything about it. I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, you said sunshine. That's exactly the words I was looking for when I was texting you about it earlier. I was like, I couldn't put my nose on it, but I was like, it reminds me of them old school platformers. Yeah, like I was like, it reminds me a lot of something. But that's sunshine all the way. Looks cool.
Sunshine mixed with Luigi's Mansion, since you're going around vacuuming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything up.
Definitely a cool concept. It looks interesting, and it's that old school 3D platformer, like really like OG stuff. Like so,
and that world just looks like phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a place you want to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Moving along down the list, we already mentioned the medium, super spooky, super interesting. We have Phantasy Star Online 2. It gets
Huge
more
update.
DLC from Japan. Japan apparently is on a much newer version than the rest of the world because it's huge over there and it's from there. People are happy about this. Never really messed with this game myself.
It's supposed to be the 20th anniversary update, so this is going to be like pretty big. It's going to change a lot of things for at least the westernized version. I have a friend, my buddy Richie, like is addicted to this game, so I see a lot of posts from him, and it's supposed to bring a lot of graphical updates and stuff to the game.
Exactly. I was going to say, supposedly, from what everyone's saying, update the game to the newest graphic engine. It's basically going to overhaul the physics of the entire game.
Should be awesome.
Yep.
I kind of want to get into it too, because that's when it's coming to like Game Pass. I think to Game Pass Ultimate is when that launches. So I'm excited to hop into it myself. We'll try it out.
Next we have Remedy, the Alan Wake and Control dudes, doing the campaign for Crossfire X.
Yeah, and which looked dope. Honestly, it looked like a different kind of Call of Duty campaign.
So
the fact that they had X Gon Give It To You playing
the slow version.
Yeah, the slow version.
Got that slow grind.
Got me.
It was looked good. The graphics were pretty damn fire. Like everything looked clean.
I messed with the beta, and it was interesting, like PUBG, Call of Duty-esque shooter.
Counter-Strike. It's very Counter-Strike-y.
Yes, it's very CS:GO. Very CS:GO.
I'm okay with that.
The multiplayer didn't grab me, but the campaign looks way more interesting than everything else.
Yeah.
Remedy does some stuff.
Yeah, that could be. It could be very tasty. It could be different. We don't get different war games besides Call of Duty or Battlefield anymore. So,
and I think this is another example of a battle royale game getting so huge they have no idea what to do with their money, so they're just like, okay, I guess we're going to make a campaign, because PUBG's sort of kind of trying to do the same thing. But
and it's an Xbox exclusive, so like it's not out there like that. So
Crossfire X is huge in PC over in Asia and a lot of countries over there. So this is them like kind of once again taking an interesting, quirky Asian title and importing it over here and being like, hey, let's see what flies over here.
That's cool. They're trying to grab on before Sony just like picks it up for cheap. You know what I mean? So
exactly. And they closed out the show finally with the trailer of video, not gameplay, of Fable, confirming it from Playground Studios. Awesome trailer though. It was cool. Like I knew as soon as I saw the fairy, I was like, there it is. They're announcing Fable. So it hit that Fable sensibility. It had that British humor and that like little tongue-in-cheek style, and it ended on like not a sour note, but like an interesting note. But I think this video did a couple of things. One, it obviously generated more interest for Fable, because who doesn't want to play that? Two, it confirmed that we're not going to be seeing a Forza Horizon game anytime soon, because Turn 10 is making Motorsport that's going to come out in the window in like the end of that calendar year, but I don't think we're going to see a Forza Horizon game for a while. We're probably going to be a 2022 for the next Horizon game, because they clearly are all in on Fable. Yeah, they're clearly all in on Fable.
Yeah, and Horizon 4 still has room to update and do things. It's still an incredible game.
And as we said, that was one of the titles they announced is going to get that Series X optimization and upgrade and all that jazz.
Game almost blew up my graphics card on my PC. Like, it's so good. So like it looks insane.
I played that on my launch Xbox. I played that on my Series X when I upgraded, and that's one of those games, almost how Crysis was like 10 or 15 years ago, where you want to test your system and see how well it'll run. Run Horizon, see how far you can see the detail on the bumpers and stuff up close while going 100 miles an hour and plowing into a brick wall, watching bricks go everywhere.
My graphics card could handle it, but my CPU was not letting it happen, dude. It was just like so delayed on everything. So once I get that upgrade, I'll go back to that and see what I got.
Because that world is so rich and well thought out of, I think that when Fable finally does come out, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, dude. And the two things that were really good in this showcase was the Grounded trailer in the beginning. They were like, if you're looking for the biggest game of the year, go buy Cyberpunk 2077. And they're like, if you want the smallest game of the year, this is for you. And I was like, that was fucking funny and cool. And then the fairy as well, she's flying around like all happy in this nice beautiful world, and then just gets snagged by a frog and pulled in and eaten. And it was just like, Fable, bitch. Like, yeah.
So one of the things that they did on the quiet that they mentioned a couple times, but they didn't really make a big deal out of all this, is everything they showed today, absolutely everything they showed, is coming to Game Pass. Everything. This was a giant commercial for Game Pass that everyone on the sly was excited for. Yeah, but more so than it's ever been before.